NBA 2K24 is here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the best possible popper build that you can make in the game. Now, if you're wondering how I know how it's the best popper build, it's because I got invited to NBA 2K24 Community Day where I got to play the game early. And after 8 hours in the builder, I found a ton of builds, including this one, that are absolutely insane. And alongside the builds, I also found the best badges, attributes, animations, everything you're going to need in 2K24. And today, I'm showing you guys all of that. So if y'all haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications because we are getting so close to 50,000 subscribers. And by the way, I'm giving away 4 copies of NBA 2K24 Mamba Edition. And right now, all you have to do to enter is literally just subscribe. Now, as you guys can see, the builder looks completely different this year. On one side, you have a custom builder where you can make your build from scratch. And then on the other side, you have a new NBA templates builder where you can make NBA preset builds that 2K made for you. But for this build, we're going to be staying in the custom builder. Now, obviously, your name, handedness, and jersey number don't matter. They're all personal preference. So those can be whatever you like. But moving on to your position and physicals, you want to go with the power forward position. Now, I tested this build at taller heights as well as the center position, but I found that the attributes at the power forward position are just so much better. So for this type of popper build that we're going to be making today, you want to go with the power forward position. For your height, you want to go 6'9", which may seem kind of short for a big, but this year there are going to be a lot of smaller builds on the court, so you're going to be just fine. After that, you want to go 225 pounds. That's going to be very important later in the video because strength this year on a big man build is probably the most important attribute in the game. And that 225 pound weight will help us get the strength we need. After that, you want to go with a 7'2" wingspan. I found that this was the perfect sweet spot because it allows you to get all the contact dunks you need, a crazy high three-pointer for this build, and the defense is just insane. All right, now starting off with your attributes, we're going to start in the finishing category, and your first attribute is going to be your close shot. Now, we're just going to upgrade it to a 50 off the rip. I know it's not crazy high, but on this build, you're going to be more around the perimeter shooting threes. And then when you do take the ball into the paint, you're either going to contact dunk it, get a layup, or get a standing dunk. And especially with all of the badges you're going to get from all of these other finishing attributes, a 50 close shot is going to be perfectly fine. But after that, you want to go with a 70 driving layup. Now, after playing the game, I found that this was kind of the perfect attribute for this build because this year you actually have to time your layups with the new layup meter. And so obviously you definitely want to have at least a solid layup to be able to time those easily. And after playing the game, I found that 70 was kind of the perfect sweet spot where you don't waste too many attributes on one thing, but it's also plenty to be able to time it perfectly every single time. Now, after that, you want to go with an 89 driving dunk. And what that attribute does is it actually allows you to get the contact dunks on this build. And once we upgrade the vertical later in the video, we'll lock those in for good. But if you take a look at the right side of the screen, you could just see how many badges that the driving dunk actually affects. Now, the first badge at the top is probably the most important. That's going to be your silver posterizer badge. And the reason that's so important is because one, it's an S tier badge this year, which puts it in the highest category. And second of all, it literally allows you to get the contact dunks once you equip them on your build. And this year with the new badge system, basically the more contact dunks and the more poster dunks you get, the higher upgraded this badge you will have. After the posterizer badge, you're going to have slithery on silver as well. And if you guys don't know, this literally just makes it easier to get wide open layups and dunks in the paint and just avoid the defenders in general. You also get a new badge called Precision Dunker, which will help you out a ton because this helps whenever you do meter dunks. And if you guys don't know, meter dunks are literally the best way to get contact dunks. So that again is going to be a badge you definitely want on this build. Now after that, you also get the aerial wizard and the new bunny badge on gold, as well as spin cycle, two-step, and whistle. And if you guys don't know about the new whistle badge yet, this will come in handy, especially when you're playing my career and rec, because as you can see, it increases the chances of you getting a foul call whenever you take up a shot. Now after the driving dunk, you're also going to get a 75 standing dunk as well. And this will obviously help you to get standing dunks, maybe even standing contact dunks. And now with the new precision dunker badge, it'll be so much easier to score on the paint on this build. Moving on to the shooting category, you're starting out with a 75 mid-range. And while it doesn't seem crazy, like I said earlier, most of the time you're going to be spending around the three-point area. So that's why on this build, we have an 82 three-point shot. And if you look on the right, it feels like you get infinite badges along with that 3-pointer. Now, starting off, you get the silver blinders badge. And if you still don't know by now, blinders literally tunes out defenders trying to contest from your left or right. After that, one of the most important badges for this build, you're gonna get catch and shoot on silver. And as you can see, it boosts the chance of hitting a jump shot immediately after a catch. And obviously, as a popper, you're gonna be setting a lot of screens, doing pick and pop, sitting in the corner, hash. So most of the time, if not all the time when you shoot, it is gonna be off a catch. So you're gonna wanna max this badge out as quickly as possible once you make this build. And after that, you get the Deadeye badge, which reduces the impact of a defender that's closing out. You also get the Agent 3 badge on this build, which is kind of handy, so when you're not catching shooting, it still makes it easier to hit those pull-up shots. Now, if you're going to be more of a spot up and less of someone that does pick and pops, you also get the gold Claymore badge. And what that does is the longer you stand in one spot and shoot right after, the easier it's going to be to make that shot. So like I said, if you're a spot up, that is going to be a very important badge for you. Now, as you can see, we also get the corner specialist badge on silver, which literally just makes it easier to hit shots from the corner. You get green machine, which makes it easier to green shots the more consecutive greens you have. And then finally, space creator and guard up, which to be honest, you're probably not going to use on this build very much. And after that 3-point shot, you're also going to have a 57 free throw. Now, if you're someone who really only plays park, obviously you could just leave this as it is. But if you're someone who plays rec or my career, you can definitely upgrade this as well if you want to. Now, moving on to the playmaking category, we have a 75 pass accuracy. And what this does is it unlocks a lot of the pass styles that'll make your passes actually faster in game. And it also gets a bunch of crazy badges for a big man build, as you guys can see on the right. We get silver break starter, which will help you out a lot when you're playing rec and threes. It literally just makes your passes more accurate and safe passing down the court. You also get the silver dimer badge, which literally just makes your teammates' shots easier to hit after you pass it to them. You get the new relay passer and touch passer, which will help you on every single court, obviously except for the 2s and 1s court. And you also get special delivery on silver in case you ever throw lobs or flashy passes. After that 75 pass accuracy, we have a 40 ball handle. Now, I know it's not crazy, but we are a big. We're not going to be dribbling much. So yeah, you're not going to be dribbling much, but it definitely will help you to not get plucked every single time you get the ball. We're also going to have a 28 speed with ball, but that just goes up because we upgraded the other stuff. Now, moving on to the defensive category, this is where it gets good, and this is where you need to copy all of these attributes exactly. Our first attribute, starting out with interior defense, we're going to upgrade that all the way to a 90. Now, this year in 2K24, interior defense got a huge buff compared to last year. So it's going to be very important to make sure you have all your attributes and badges set up for that. So as you can see on the right side, what badges this interior defense gets you. Starting off with the S tier badge, you get gold anchor. Basically, it just makes it a lot easier to block and contest shots and just get stops in the paint against the offense. You're also going to get gold post lockdown on this build, which I'm not going to lie to y'all, is going to be very important because I feel like there are going to be a lot of post scorers this year. Because if you haven't seen any of the gameplay yet, post scoring and just drop steps and bullying people in the paint is very, very OP this year. Because if you haven't seen the gameplay yet, bullying in the paint, drop stepping, post scoring is very powerful this year. So obviously you're gonna want to be able to stop that on this build. Now, after that, you're also gonna get the workhorse badge on gold, which increases a player's speed and ability to get loose balls over the opponent. And obviously, without badge points here this year, you can get as many badges as you want. You just have to work for them. And I'm not gonna lie, this will not be a bad badge to work for. Now, moving on to the perimeter defense, we're gonna upgrade that all the way to a 75. That way, even if you get drawn out of the paint, you can still hold your own and get stops on the defensive end. And as you can see, it gets you a bunch of badges like ankle braces, which literally just protects you from ankle breakers. You get Challenger on bronze, which helps you contest shots more. Clamps on bronze, which literally just keeps you in front of the ball handler when you're on defense, so that's going to be a very important badge. Pick Dodger, you probably won't use too much on this build, but in case, you know, a guard sets a screen against you, that'll definitely help. And as you can see, it also affects the workhorse badge, because this year they actually made it so a lot of different attributes affect certain badges, which in the end makes it harder to get the badge, which honestly is a W idea. And finally, the perimeter perimeter defense attribute also affects the off-ball pest badge, which will definitely help you out guarding pick and rolls and cuts off the basket. After perimeter defense, you're gonna have a 70 steal. Now, it's not super high, but it is enough to get you the interceptor badge on bronze, which, as you can see, increases the chances of getting steals in passing lanes, which will once again help you defend the pick and roll, pick and pop, just passes to the corner, or lobs. Now, at a 70 steal, you also get access to the right stick ripper badge, and that basically does the same thing as interceptor, but it also helps you get plucks on the defender when they're dribbling whenever you use the right stick to do steal attempts. Now, moving on to one of the best parts about this build, you get a 92 block, and once again, that affects the anchor badge as well, because like I said, multiple attributes this year tied together to one badge. So that 92 block is going to help out a lot. You're also going to get silver chase down artist, which will obviously help you get chase down blocks, which I'm not gonna lie, is definitely a very good thing to have on a center build. And you also get the silver pogo stick badge. Now, this year on defense, you lose an adrenaline bar whenever you jump, so having this badge on will help you get back down to the ground as fast as possible and then contest the shot again. Now, moving on to the rebounding attributes, you're gonna have an 86 defensive rebound as well as a 46 offensive rebound. Now, I wish I could have upgraded this a bit more, but with the new builder this year, you can't make as many demigod builds as you could last year. But trust me, an 86 defensive rebound is going to be perfectly fine, because with that, you get the gold box out beast badge, which obviously just makes it easier to box out the other team and then get the rebounds. And as you can see, it also affects the pogo stick badge, so you're definitely going to want to have that on, which for some reason, if you don't know, it literally just makes it so much easier to get rebounds. Moving on to the physicals category, do not skip any of this, because the physicals this year are probably some of the most important attributes in the game. The first one, starting off with speed, you're going to max that out all the way to a 78, and that's going to be very important because you want to be as fast as possible moving off ball when you're doing pick and pops, running around, dexing, cutting to the basket, as well as you want to be as fast as possible when you're playing defense and defending anybody on the court. After that, you're going to bring your acceleration all the way up to a 63, and this is very important because that affects your ability to get the clamps badge, as well as slippery off ball and spot finder, which are both badges that help you get open off ball. Moving on to the strength attribute, you want to basically max this out all the way to a 91. And if you look at the right side of the screen at the badges, it's crazy. The strength attribute affects so many important badges on your build this year. Starting off with the first S tier badge, it affects your box out beast. So if you don't have it above a 90, you're not going to get gold box out beast. It allows you to get the new bulldozer badge, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, that is probably one of the best badges in the game that you can have on a center build. It literally just lets you bully your defender and push them out of the way as you drive to the basket. Strength also allows you to get the fearless finisher badge, a movable enforcer, which, as you can see, improves a defender player's strength when defending ball handlers and finishers. Now, this badge is actually going to help you stop people from using the bulldozer badge on you. So that right there is another very important badge you want to have. Strength also lets you get the post lockdown on gold, as well as brick wall on gold, which is going to be very important, obviously, when you're setting screens, doing pick and rolls and pick and pops. Moving on to the vertical, you want to make sure you have this exactly at a 78, because going along with your 89 driving dunk, it is going to be very important to have this all the way up here. That way you actually get the contact dunk animations when you make the build. And finally, for your stamina, you want to go all the way up to a 96. That way you never run out of stamina when you're playing defense, running off ball, or anything like that. And there we have it, man. The two-way inside out threat. Honestly, kind of a crazy name. And now that you guys got a big man build, check out the best guard build by clicking the video on the screen. And if you still haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe.